Hey guys, today's video is in English and it's not about Rust. I just wanted to talk about something that I'm starting today or yesterday. It's it's a fun experiment that I've been thinking of doing for a while, and I might as well do now. The short story is that in 1999, when I started studying Japanese, I got this thing in my head where I couldn't read English anymore. Like I obviously could, but every time I opened up an English book, my mind would tell me that you're not learning Japanese. You're not. You might as well. If you don't learn it now, then it's going to take that much longer. So I pretty much had to. Or I just put away all my English books, and then after that, it was all foreign languages. And ever since then, I've picked up other languages, and doing that every time. There's been pretty much no reason to look at English books because I could do two things at the same time instead of one, and there are a lot of English books that are translated from other languages already, or even English books translated into other languages are still good enough most of the time, unless you're really looking to get the original feel of the English, but that's never been a big issue for me. So the experiment is to look at to get myself reading English by making it into a foreign language, and the way I'm doing that is I'm picking books that start out like this one here is from 1913, and it's about the German Empire, and it's published right before the war started. Nobody knew the First World War was going to start. And I'm a big fan of the Belle Epoque and the history then and the time up to the war. And then after every book is done, I have to move on to an older book, and so eventually it'll become basically a foreign language, because when you get back to the 12th century, then it's pretty much a different language. And so this one here, you can see it's pretty much almost the same. You have to read like two or three pages until you can find like small differences, like until such oath has been taken. Modern English, you'd probably say until such an oath has been taken, and sometimes you have like the words like cooperation are written with the umlaut over the second O. It's not called an umlaut in English, but it's to show that they use it in Dutch too. You have the to show that it's a ko-ah, it's not a ku kind of sound. And so after that, I have a few. I'm thinking about go back 50 years per book, but it could be shorter if I start really enjoying this, because the rule is that it has to be older. So the shorter the time period between books, the more books I can read. So this one is 1913. The next one I think I'm going to do is called. I just found these on archive.org. Just random books on pretty everyday stuff. So this one is Home Life in Germany from 1860, and you can see there's a little bit more French here and there, but it's basically the same. After that, here's another one, 1806. So you go back another 50 years, and this one is a travel through France, Switzerland, Italy, Germany, and you can see it's also pretty similar. And then by the 18th century, that's when you start to get here's another old school travel blog, but that's when you start to see like the long S, where's an example? Stands. There you go. And you see that in Sherman Fractor too, where you have like the S in the beginning looks like an F, and it always screws up the books on Google Books, where you see all these F's everywhere when it's actually an S. There's another one, Sestiero. And you can see there's a bunch of Latin. It's kind of assuming that the reader is going to know what the Latin's saying, so that's interesting. And then you go back another 50 years, and here's a book on the British Empire, and you can see the printing quality is quite different, and you're starting to get to it's not quite a different language though. Like if you look at this, the company having dismissed them, their service, these two Frenchmen in revenge procured some merchants of Canada to undertake a settlement there. So you can still read it like modern English. But go back a little bit more. Where are we at now? 1660. This one is about Italy. "'Tis seated in a plain at the foot of certain hills more long than broad, although but 3 miles in circuit, yet well replenished with dwellings and inhabitants." See, even that's not too hard. Go back another 50 years. This one that I picked is translated from French, I guess, by the essays or moral, politic, and military discourses of some knight of the noble order. So let's see. This one is like really, really thick. This one's going to take a while. "When shall we expect that they will be agreed? We are never unto ourselves, then is wit and whiteness unto snow, or weight unto a stone." So you can see it's starting to become a little bit harder. "If man knew not himself, how can he know his families and forces? Functions and forces. It is not by fortune that some true notice doth not lodge with us, but by hazard." So that you start to get that kind of Shakespeare's feel here. And then this is the oldest one I found so far. Is called the Fardel of Factions, and actually it the original looks like this, and I wanted to read it from here. So I'll probably do that most of the time, but there's some parts where the scan only comes to about here. So but thankfully this this nicer printed version still has the original spelling, like "Rastled a space with sundry prentice, I rather determined to lose my labor of the quarter." Translation. See, there you go. That, I don't even know what that means. "Then to be shamed with the half." Don't know what that is. "And throwing it aside, intended no further to weary myself therewithal at the least, until I might find a book of a better impression." So yeah, and that's as far as I've gotten so far. But of course, between this and Beowulf, there's still quite a lot of time. And of course, you know, Beowulf looks like this. And I know what this says just because I've read this passage a lot, but the rest of it is basically looks closer to Icelandic than English. So anyway, if anybody, I just thought I'd mention this in case anybody thinks it's interesting and would like to give it a try themselves. And the idea is to not study it, not care too much about it as a foreign language, but just to go back bit by bit and see exactly what happens. And then if it starts becoming really a foreign language, then maybe I'll have to do some actual studying. But I'm curious how much I can do just by direct input. So yeah, you guys should try it too.